Hello, 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 friends. Nicholas here with DIVO, TED Talks, Devoted Talks, where we take ancient wisdom and practices through a modern lens and experience to help those you love and yourself and suffering in your personal and greater worlds alike. I don't know why that was so hard to choke out today. Anyway, I'm glad to have you guys here. I'm glad to be talking. I'm glad that I have had the day that I had yesterday and today. And yeah, hello. Life fluctuates. Life is up and down. It's left and right. It's spinning around and doing all that mumbo jumbo that we call the humdrum of life. But what I would like to talk about is something I just kind of visually saw that really kind of struck me. Um, I had a really good visit with my doctor today. I saw the PA who, you know, did my checkup, and it was great. It was good information. Still in the healing process for my shoulder, but I got to thinking about stuff and how I get overwhelmed with life, and then how some weeks it's easier to organize myself, and other weeks it's not. And I got this visual of us spinning in circles around and around and around and around and around, right? We're just running around doing things. We're taking the dogs out. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're going here. We're going there. And we're just spinning and spinning and spinning. It's a lot of vata. And vata sometimes could be visualized as a tornado. And so thinking about spinning around in circles, and then no wonder you have trouble getting organized or knowing where to start when you come to a stop from all the spinning, because it's like, I'm so dizzy from all the spinning that I don't even know where to begin because I don't know up from down and left from right. And so that's what's happening in a lot of people's lives. They're living like the Tasmanian devil. Shout out to Looney Tunes if you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Tasmanian devil on Looney Tunes. Anyway, so we're constantly moving, we're constantly going in circles because we do the same things in and out, and we're running, 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 right? And even if we may be doing different things, we still have a circular nature to our lives, right? We wear clothes and then we do laundry. We go to the gym and then we come home and we do the next thing. And da 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 da. Routine is good, but we're running from each of the things to the next without any mindfulness, without any breaks. And of course, some of you may actually do and or may have actually realized the benefit of taking these breaks and or pausing long enough to catch your bearings. But everybody's dizzy because life goes at a dizzying pace, and then we wonder why we can't accomplish things, or why we would rather veg out. I've alluded to it before, but I'm finding right now that this is much more explanatory of it, that we're not lazy, we're not incapable. We're just burnout from spinning in circles, slash, we don't have our bearings. And so then when we finally get a chance to work on the next thing, we don't even know where to begin. But also, sometimes we just have to sit until we recalibrate, right? And that's a lot of times when we go on vacation, we have to like wind down for the first couple of days. Then we go hard on the vacation, and then we have to come back, and then we need a vacation from the vacation, but then we're back to work doing the spin out on that. So stay with me here. Life moves at a breakneck, dizzying pace. And it is logical and expected that we would struggle at times to orient ourselves in relation to that dizziness or to that instability, with knowing what to do next, or how to do it next, or when to do it. Right. And some people, these things come more naturally, but I guarantee there are other aspects of their life, if they don't have a practice that is holding them steady, that they're out of whack. Right. Some people have a put together work life. Some people have a put together home life, and work is out of whack. Right. There's different aspects of our lives that, are all spinning at the same time. And in my case, I'm single and I'm responsible for everything. And so I'm doing everything for the business right now, but I'm doing everything in my household, including my animals and just all the day-to-day stuff you have to do, including right now taking care of my shoulder. You know, thank God that it's something that's covered by the other person's insurance, because I wouldn't be able to handle what I have to carry for this burden right now without it. And that's fine. And that's neither here nor there. But it offered some perspective about, living respectfully in life, taking responsibility for what's yours, doing what you can do, and honoring limitations, but also honoring not just obligations, but promises. Like if somebody else hurts me, they need to make me whole. and if it was no fault of my own, right? And if I do something to myself, I am responsible to make myself whole. And so one of the things I was thinking about is, because I've been moving around in this spinny, dizzy pace, I haven't done my exercises a lot in the last week, partially because I was sick. But I mean, it was really funny when I was talking to the PA today. He was like, the best thing you can do is those the stupid TheraBand exercises. He's like, I don't mean to call them stupid. And I said, I know. He was like, but they really just work. And I was like, I needed to hear that from you, because I also think of them as stupid. But they wouldn't have been doing it this long if they didn't work. And also, if I'm not consistent with it, there's no training of the muscles to regain full use of the joint. While I have made huge progress and the prognosis is good for a full recovery and normal use again, I still have to do the work in between, right? And while financially and, cost wise, they're going to make me whole on the insurance company, I still have to do the things that only I can do, which is exercise and do the specific movements that I'm learning to help rehab the shoulder more effectively. And while I haven't lost any ground, because I have been swimming most every day and that's been very helpful, I need to rebuild how all the ligaments come back together. One of his things that he said was, from that trauma, the ligaments are all stretched out like a rubber band. And he's like, it takes time for them to come back to normal. And while I intuitively knew this, it took me talking to somebody else to really go, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Because I was just like, well, is it the tear that's making it slide in the joint? And he's like, no, everything was stretched. And now it has to learn how to move back together. And the exercises are going to keep the vascularization high and the blood and circulation high, which will help it heal in the right ways as long as you're continuously moving that way. And so those stupid little TheraBand exercises, which work really well, are the anchor point so that I can orient myself after being dizzied up by life or the day to day. And that is the point. You have to have an anchor point. It could be your yoga practice. It could be reading. It could be your morning routine. It could be something else that you do that helps you orient so that you can get back on track once the tides of life kind of stop sloshing around, or the winds of life stop spinning around and blowing like a maelstrom. And so, full circle, life is dizzying. Life is spinning you around. And a lot of times you have to try to keep up, or sometimes you just like to keep up, but you do have to come out of that periodically, or you will come out of that periodically and then have to organize your life appropriately. And it's hard to do that if you don't give yourself the time to reorient. And so yoga, mindfulness, meditation, Ayurveda, all of that are great anchor points, but what's detailed wide, the details of each person doing that anchor point is going to be their own, right? Each person will have what resonates with them. Some people need to go on a hike and out in nature. Other people need to meditate. Other people need to do a spiritual practice. It doesn't matter what it is. It just matters that it anchors you so that you're oriented. And I think that's a better way of putting a lot of the topics that I've been talking about, how yoga and Ayurveda apply in each of the discussions that I've had. It's an anchor point. It creates stability. And it's not just dinacharya, but it's this thing that steadies us so that we are looking forward, right? It's a gyroscope if you're thinking about navigation systems, right? It keeps itself steady so it knows where north is no matter what the forces are doing to you. And if you don't have that gyroscope and the gyroscope isn't tuned up by like doing the exercises, like we said, it's hard and you may not be able to get everything you need out of a situation, or it may take you longer to do things because you haven't taken care as well as you could have, right? Wellness isn't related to right or wrong. Wellness is related to how much do you want out of the things that you're doing, right? Wellness is, am I getting the fullest amounts of satisfaction from my life? Am I getting the fullest amount of health out of the things that I'm consuming and the choices and thoughts that I am making and thinking? The choice is yours, but a lot of people are so dizzy and so spun out that they haven't even thought about these things. And so find that anchor point, whatever it is for you. And it doesn't have to be yoga and Ayurveda, but yoga and Ayurveda are really great practices that have stood the test of time that help with that and could help you be well and be free.